Jim Harbaugh has made another coaching hire to replace Linguist. Now it is former Kentucky defensive backs coach Steve Clinkscale. He is your new defensive passing game coordinator and cornerbacks coach for Jim Harbaugh's Wolverines. To welcome him to Michigan, show him some love. I'm sure he's going to be an avid viewer of the show. Go ahead and type "Go Blue" in the comments and let him know that Michigan Wolverines fans are welcoming him and hoping to see the positive results he showed the last couple seasons, in particular Kentucky, in the Michigan secondary. And before you guys get into the video with me, I want to make sure I remind you to subscribe to the channel. If you would have watched on our Linguist video, I would have told you, you'd have saw, I had Clinkscale at my top of my list of potential candidates. So this should be a name, if you subscribed in the past, that is not any news to you. But if you haven't, it is youtube.com/Michigan TV. We're going to dive more into this hire, walk you through his career and why this is such an important recruiting win for Jim Harbaugh. Coming up in the show right now. Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh has made another coaching hire, his seventh coaching hire since January. It is now former Kentucky defensive backs coach Steve Clinkscale is now going to be the defensive passing game coordinator for the Wolverines and cornerbacks coach. We'll kind of tag team the secondary there with the safeties coach. We'll dive into what he is bringing from a recruiting perspective, talk about where he's been prior in his career later on the show. But want to bring you the news. It is a 3-year contract. Apparently the contract language does have words in there that say he has potential to become co-defensive coordinator in 2022 and 2023, the second and the third year of this deal. Now, he was just promoted to defensive passing game coordinator at Kentucky in the last month or so, and now he gets that same job title. I think seen in the coaching ranks that passing game coordinator, you've seen it in the past with Michigan on the offensive side. They've had a passing game coordinator, a running game coordinator, now a defensive passing game coordinator. I think it's probably just a little bit more of a title that gets a guy to jump from one school to another, kind of make him, not think he's taking a step back from a passing game coordinator to just a position coach. But with Linguist heading out, this is a pretty big hire because it was the one that most scribes and pundits out there that cover the Wolverines thought was the top candidate. Jim Harbaugh has had conversations and flirted with him. He's been part of the potential hiring process the last 2 off seasons. And now Jim Harbaugh has got his man. Financial terms are still undisclosed this time, but we have found out that it is a 3-year contract. Makes him the passing game coordinator, and there is actual language in there that gives him the opportunity to become co-defensive coordinator. I'm guessing that also comes with some language that protects Michigan if he were to be pursued for another job in the future. But let's take a look at the recent career trajectory of Michigan's new defensive backs coach, Steve Clinkscale. It's a tough name. I keep wanting to say Clinkscale, but nevertheless, it is Clinkscale. He was with Kentucky the last 5 seasons as their defensive backs coach, was just promoted to passing game coordinator in this offseason, get that same job title at Michigan. Was a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati for 1 season in 2015 under Tommy Tuberville. Prior to that, their defensive backs coach in 13 and 14. Spent 1 season as Illinois' defensive back coach in 2012. And prior to that, spent 3 seasons as Toledo's special teams coordinator. Also had defensive backs responsibilities in that role as well. But this is going to be a pretty interesting hire because from a recruiting perspective, I am pretty excited, but given that all of the players he has pulled out of the state of Michigan over the past few years, right? Quite a few. And he's the lead recruiter. He is seen as the dominant recruiter and the guy that gets, the recruits talking about on social media at Kentucky. They've done a pretty good job. They've got the number 11 class in the country for 2022 right now, and 6 players ranked 4-star or higher by one of the recruiting service. Not all consensus 4 stars, but nevertheless, 3 of those players were recruited by Clinkscale himself. So it's a pretty interesting one. You see his Twitter account, by the way, at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you go on Twitter, show him some love. It is at Coach Clink, Michigan's new defensive passing game coordinator and cornerbacks coach. But if you guys like this hire, and I do like it, I think Jim Harbaugh had all kinds of opportunities to get the wrong guy here, but I think he got the right guy. A very well-respected recruiter in the Southeast, the state of Michigan, the state of Ohio. So if you like this hire like I do, make sure you go down and like this video. Today's show is presented by Manscaped. You saw last week, Manscaped has got a new product, the Lawnmower 4.0. And if you go to manscaped.com, use that promo code GoBlue, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. Well, why would you use this product? Well, if you've ever had any recent sexual experiences with the lady of your life and things get a little intimate down there, believe me, she is going to be much more receptive to getting down and dirty in the sack if you're cleaned up downstairs and it's not a jungle. And that's where Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0 comes in. You get that 20% off. This is a high-performing machine. Normally, $89.99, $90. You get it for $71.99 with our promo code. It is the Lawnmower 4.0, just launched last week. I'm waiting to get mine. I've been using the 3.0 for a while. I love it. Keeps me clean downstairs. You guys, I mean, look at this face. I'm getting the chicks. Believe me, when they go downstairs, it is all good down there. Manscaped.com, promo code GoBlue. Get hooked up with Manscaped. Shout out to them for being our presenting sponsor today. So Jim Harbaugh's made a few bad coaching hires over the years. This staff has had a ton of turnover. As I thought about this hire today, I was like, wow, Linguist never coached a job. You know what? That's the second coach in the secondary in the last year that hasn't, never coached a game for Michigan before he left the program. Bob Shoop is the safeties coach, was the co-DC at Mississippi State, came to Michigan after they got a new coaching staff, became Michigan safeties coach, had some off-the-field issues, which is being kind of covered up by the program. I'm not going to go into that. And he was relieved, never coached a game at Michigan. And then 3 years ago, Dan Enos came in to be passing game quarterback coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And before he was even able to move to Ann Arbor, he got another job and took the role at Alabama. I don't know if I've ever heard of a program with 3 coaching hires in a 3 calendar year period, or 3 years and a couple months. They've had 3 coaches hired and left without ever coaching a game like Jim Harbaugh has. So hopefully, given the fact that he's talked to Clinkscale over the last couple off seasons about a potential role at Michigan, he's done a better diligence, a better process, making sure that he doesn't already have 1 foot out of the door before he comes in the program, like clearly Mo Linguist did. And I'll tell you what, 7 coaching hires since January for Harbaugh. That is a lot of coaching turnover. There's only 10 coaches on the staff. So you let 6 go or moved on after last season, and then 1 leaves this offseason in Mo Linguist. So you're replacing 7 coaches. That is a big deal, but I think this is a great hire for recruiting. As I said before, he's got 3 players ranked 4 stars or higher out of Kentucky's 6 in the 2022 class that have committed directly to him. He was their main recruiter in that number 11 class, including one from the state of Michigan. Now, he's a consensus 3-star. Jeremiah Caldwell, 3-star athlete out of the state of Michigan. But also, how about these kids? Out of the state of Tennessee, the Wade twins, 4-star linebacker, number 185 in the country. His twin brother, that's Keaton Wade, his twin brother, Destin Wade, 4-star athlete, 6'3", 205. He's number 353 overall in the 24/7 Sports consensus. Could those be prospects that Michigan goes after? Well, how about Walter Nolan? He was never going to go to Kentucky, but the number 2 player in this 2022 class has a great relationship, I've been told, with Clinkscale, and Clinkscale has been recruited all in and around the Memphis area at his 5 years in Kentucky. So I think that's a win from that perspective, right? The thing we heard about Mo Linguist is he was the most, communicative of all Michigan's assistant coaches. He was the one texting with players all the time, taking phone calls. He was the one that kids were talking about on social media. Just talk to this coach, just talk to that coach. It was Mo Linguist over the past 3 or 4 months. I think we're getting the same kind of coach here in Steve Clinkscale. He's done well in Michigan. He's from the state of Ohio, by the way. He grew up in the Youngstown, the cradle of coaches. Name them out for me, Tom. We got Jim Tressel. You got Bo Pelini, who am I missing? The Stoops brothers, Bob Stoops, and of course, the coach at Kentucky, head coach at Kentucky, Mark Stoops. But recruits Kentucky well, has done very well in the state of Michigan. I want to kind of throw a couple of names for you. Right out the gate from the state of Michigan over the past couple years. 4-star Justin Rogers, offensive lineman in the 2020 class, right? Didn't even really consider Michigan down the stretch. He was the number 53 player overall from Oak Park. He went down to Kentucky. You got a 4-star defensive tackle from Oak Park in 2018, Marquand McCall. DeAndre Buford from MLK, a 2023 star offensive lineman. And then another 2023 star wide receiver, Ernest Sanders from the Flint area. All state of Michigan kids. All went down to Kentucky. All were recruited by Steve Clinkscale. So outside of the fact that he seems to be a pretty good defensive backs coach, Kentucky had the number 1 passing defense in the SEC in both 2020 and 2019. He seems to be one of the more well-respected and high impact recruiters in all of the Midwest. So we'll have more on this coaching hire as we go through the rest of the spring into the summer. But for today, you've been watching the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, James Yoder, and always go blue.